We're going to take a look at two of the most active stocks on the day in here today. We're going to look at Super Microcomputer and we're going to look at NVIDIA. But first up on the weekly chart, we're going to look at ticker symbol SMCI. That's going to be Super Microcomputer. Obviously, ever since the news came out last week, had that huge drop in here from Thursday into Friday. A little bit of consolidation down here is obviously going to be needed. And it looks like we got a little pop in here to the green. Obviously, it's nothing crazy. But so far, we're setting up good for basically we're just going to kind of wait this thing out, right? That's what everybody, just any sort of glimpse of good news in here, this thing should take off and take off pretty quickly. All your options traders are basically sticking to the bullish side in here just as a hedge because of that big pullback that we did have. So your net flow basically flipped bullish today. Towards the end of the day, your short-term net flow actually flipped very bullish. So it looks like everybody is setting up in here to the upside. But the question is, when and then how quickly are we going to go up? So our two supports in here that we're looking at come from lows that we had back in October and November of 2024. And that's going to be 2020 and then the 1725 area. That's what we're looking at in here. So far, we're sitting up shop right on that $20 handle. We had a high in here towards the end of the day in here to those 22 and a half. So that's good news. If we can hold the 22s, then we're looking upward in here. Basically, nice whole numbers, right? 23, 24, 25, working our way up to right around that $27 area right here. And then anything above there is going to be our previous basically the area that we are consolidating in up here right around that $30 range. Our RSI in here is sitting at 34, so relatively oversold. Obviously on the daily it's way oversold, but on the weekly we are getting close to being oversold, and obviously that's going to come with a huge drawdown that we had in here last week. Now as far as our implied volatility goes, it's still a little bit hard to gauge in here just because so much has happened in the past week. Your IV rank is sitting here at 52, about $1.35 expected move priced in by this Friday. Next Thursday, right around $2. The following Friday, right around a $3 expected move priced in here in Super Microcomputer. So all in all, we'll take a day like this where we still had that nice little run up in that correlation with the market when we had a little pop. So the market only ran up a little bit in here, but you had that nice, basically a dollar something run that got us into those 22 and a half. So that is good. So any sort of pop that we might get in the market, look for Super Microcomputer to kind of follow suit. And actually it might probably will outperform the relative to itself, right? So it probably will outperform the market if we do get a little pop, just because everybody is so bullish in here, just looking for some sort of recovery. Even if we get up in there to that $25, $26 range, everybody will basically be happy in here, right? We're going to take a look at NVIDIA in here, another active stock on the weekly chart in here. You can see everything's tightening up and basically kind of the exact opposite of Super Microcomputer. So not a whole lot going on in here, even though we're getting those pops in the market, still overall just kind of blah, right? So everything's getting really tight in here. Your 50-day SMA is getting closer, creeping up to that 9-day EMA. There's a relatively sitting at 179 and 169 currently. Our main kind of support that we are looking at is going to be that 173. Our resistance is going to be up here at that 183. Little $10 channel in here. We have to see if we can get out of it. Which one is going to break first, and then where are we going to go from there, right? So anything above 183, we're going to be looking up here right around that 195 to the downside. Below that 173 and that 50-day SMA, we're going to be looking right here, right around that 165 area. So that is kind of what's on board for the weekly chart in here in NVIDIA. Really not a whole lot going on. Just your moving averages are converging and getting a little bit closer than what they were. Your RSI and all your momentum indicators basically saying, hey, this is neutral. Your IV rank in here, since the volatility is creeping back down, your IV rank is sitting at about a 5 right now. You have a $4 expected move being priced in by this Friday. The following Thursday, you're looking about a $7 expected move. So not a whole lot relative compared to itself in here for NVIDIA in your implied volatility. So any pop that we might get within volatility, look for NVIDIA to pull back, and then volatility will expand in here when your options, just because this is a very active stock. Obviously, if any movement in here to the downside and any pop in your VIX, watch the options kind of expand in here in NVIDIA, just because it's one of the big boys, right? If not the biggest company in here as far as options traders are concerned. So that's what we're looking at overall on our weekly chart. Two stocks most active, two kind of different stories, but still we're kind of looking at the same thing and we kind of have the same questions, right? So volatility, expanding and contracting. We're looking at that correlation between these two stocks and the overall market. That's what we're looking at, but two kind of different stories overall, but yet still both very active. So let's see what happens in SMCI. Let's see what happens in NVDA and here on the week. And we're going to see where we continue and end up here as we get closer to that Friday close. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.